If you love apocalyptic movies like I do, you need to watch this episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to Visual Literacy Hub. This is Angela. I created this channel to record my daily observations and analysis about this very visual world that we live in. My analysis is 100% personal, nothing professional. This is about you and I together to see, think, and share. Well, let the fun begin! Fans of apocalyptic movies, I've got great news for you. A small team of researchers from the University of Chicago, Pennsylvania State University, and Aarhus University has found that we, people who are exposed to the end of the world movies, may have a practical mental advantage in the current coronavirus pandemic. Researchers asked 310 volunteers what movie they preferred, how prepared they felt going into pandemic, and whether they experienced any level of anxiety or depression. And they found that the fans of prepper genres such as alien invasion, apocalyptic, and zombies exhibited both greater resilience and preparedness. At the same time, though, we could also be far more vigilant and frightened, which have mental repercussions in the long term. To be honest, I'm not too surprised by the finding. As someone who is an apocalyptic movie fan, one of my greatest skills is to allow my thoughts to run into the wild land of an imaginary apocalyptic situation and make plans for what to do, what to buy, and where to go. 3 of my actual to-do lists for the next 10 years are 1. Buy or build a bunker in New Zealand, 2. Learn how to operate a boat or plane, and 3. Learn bush survival skills. And please don't laugh at me. Well, better to be prepared than not, right? Apocalyptic movies have been with us for over a century now. As early as 1916, we had the Danish film The End of the World that talks about the chaos that occurred after a comet passes the Earth. A response to the panic that happened 6 years earlier when Halley's comet passed the planet. Then, in the 40s, we had an empty gap caused by the real-world problems of World War II, until the first golden age of apocalyptic movies in the 50s. Events like the use of atomic bomb and the Cold War, sadly, provided numerous inspirations for this genre, such as 1951's The Day the Earth Stood Still, which talks about conflicts and peace, 1954's Godzilla, that rooted from the fear of nuclear weapon, and 1959's The World and the Flesh and the Devil, set in a similar radioactive setting. Ever since then, the end of the world no longer seemed to be something that was merely happening to us as a result of comets or other natural disasters, but something caused by us. The environment in the 60s continued to nurture more ideas of apocalypse. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Vietnam War, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, My Lai massacre. All these chaos embedded fear, insecurity, and uncertainty in people's head. And apocalyptic films quickly reflected that. We had Dr. Strangelove, a 1964 black comedy film that satirizes the Cold War. We had Crack in the World, a 1965 American sci-fi movie about scientists launching a nuclear missile into the Earth's crust, accidentally unleashing a cataclysmic destruction. We had The War Game, a 1966 British pseudo-documentary film that depicts a nuclear war and its aftermath, which was withdrawn before the provisional screening day for being too horrifying for the medium of broadcasting. Similar themes of political tension, warfare, loss of faith in authorities continued across the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, with the addition of the panic caused by potential resource shortage and ever-advancing machines. For example, 1973's Battle for the Planet of the Apes touched on the themes of slavery, class, and government corruption. 1979's Australian dystopian film Mad Max told the story of a police officer in future Australia, which is experiencing societal collapse due to war and critical resource shortages. Or we had 1981's Escape from New York, a story written by its author as a reaction to the 1970s Watergate scandal. And let's not forget about the absolute classic, 1984's The Terminator, where our world is overrun by killing machines, resulting from humanity's technological hubris. It was until the approach of the millennium that we got some fresh new threats, computers. With the internet fundamentally altering the way we live, events like the millennium bug made many people anxious about this revolution that happened so quickly. The Matrix series caught these anxieties and advanced the disaster of technology in the Terminator series to the next level. Entering the 21st century, we have more apocalyptic setting caused by environmental issues and exhaustion of natural resources, such as in The Day After Tomorrow, or by the chemicals and the bacteria and the rubbish that we produce, such as in I Am Legend, The Host, Residential Evil, and Train to Busan, or War E. The message was once again very clear. We are responsible for everything. As you can see, every era is accompanied by its own struggles and fears, which then become evident in their disaster movies. This genre is never just about apocalypse itself. It is about mankind and the troubles that we caused. In the past couple of years, we see another boom of apocalyptic movies and TV shows around the globe. For example, Hellbound, Kingdom, Alive, A Quiet Place, Wandering Earth, Don't Look Up, Bird Box, Awake. Our world has been threatened along with many different themes and messages, such as parental crisis, motherhood, human-robot relationship, family reunion, and teenagers taking over the world. When I look through the period between my first memorable encounter with an apocalyptic movie, which was 2012, released 13 years ago, and the present, the weight of apocalypse seems to have shifted from being the main attraction in the movie to just an ubiquitous backdrop for every other topic to happen. It almost seems like every movie nowadays needs to touch on the idea of the end of humanity. Otherwise, you're not reflecting the reality, which apparently is made up of more frequent natural disasters, global warming, ever-building political tension, and an increased amount of racism, hatred, chaos, anxiety, and doubts in this society. Apocalyptic movies seem to no longer serve the purpose of warning, and we see more disaster movies concerned with the aftermath of the apocalyptic event. This is because we now have a reality where the previous unthinkable seems to become everyday norms, where we no longer need warnings because we never listened. Every day there are new, unbelievable man-made tragedies, to a degree where it numbs us, and we're not even scared of the idea of an apocalypse anymore. We're used to it, and we're pretty sure that one day it will happen, likely caused by mankind itself. And by then, maybe we just hoard more toilet papers, then we'll be fine. That's all for this video. In our next episode, we're going to keep digging into this visually powerful genre, such as my list of must-see apocalyptic movies and TVs from every subgenre. And how do we judge the quality of apocalyptic media? See you next week. Bye!